Howdy, struggler. Nah, that's not right. It's a little too Western. Let's try something else. In a world where one struggles to take his revenge, one man must...
That's really out of my range. Let's keep this more me.
Hey, what's up? If you're watching this video, that means that you have been looking for the Berserk video. My name's Croc, and 8 months ago, I finally decided to take the journey and leap into reading the late Kentaro Miura's work, Berserk. Now, as an anime watcher and manga reader, I have never actually ever only read a series before. I have always watched the anime to a story first, and from there got into the manga. But Berserk, I knew I had to go about this differently. Through all my research prior to getting into it, I knew that there was no other effective way to knowing the true essence of this tale without reading. I had never seen anything from the Berserk anime adaptations ever, even with as many controversies and popularity on the interwebs. So, 2 months ago, I finally caught up to chapter 371, which at the time of this recording is the last chapter released, and bruh, plot twist. But enough of my rambling. I'll be blunt right now about it. I originally was deeply and still am in love with the series Naruto. It was the first series I got to truly follow along and grow with, and nurtured my love for the medium at the time. Sure, DBZ was around when I was a kid, but you know, it was a finished product by the time I consumed it in the late 90s, early 2000s on Toonami. I believe there's just something that hits different getting to follow in real time a mangaka go through the journey of telling his story. Later on, after Naruto's manga and anime finish, I needed something more, so I finally decided to give goofy looking ass One Piece a try. And to my surprise, though I love Naruto and it went through my teens and early 20s following it, One Piece is different. It's just different. I was humbled to learn that the heights of storytelling for shonen go far beyond the action and intense moments I got from Naruto. I learned to appreciate the world in which characters live in and so much more when I fell in love with One Piece. And honestly, if I didn't fall in love with it, I wouldn't be here today. I ended up starting One Piece on Valentine's Day in 2018. I caught up to around episode 800 and something by May and immediately picked up and started reading. And at that point, we were in the reverie. But even when catching up to One Piece, I decided on my channel, I need to start something from the beginning. But not a shonen, something different, I had to do something completely different. And little did I know, I would stumble across one of the most gripping tales I've ever read, with a character I thought was just a badass Chad, only based on images, but ended up being one of the most torn and complex, strong and sensitive, real human characters I've ever had the pleasure to see put on paper. Now, I am not one who enjoys gore and blood and violence just for the sake of it. It's not my thing. I get real squeamish. One time when I was a kid, I was getting blood drawn and I passed out just from seeing the IV and the needle too soon. If it was up to me, I'd still be probably hiding in my mom's chest like a little 3-year-old, but whatever, that's neither here nor there. Yes, I have tattoos as well, but those needles are different, and don't at me, shot needles and tattoo needles, completely different. Anyways, Berserk was a series that I had no idea would mean so much to me in such a short time, and honestly, live streaming it with the handful of people who watched my journey throughout meant so much to me, since I never thought anyone would be interested in watching me live stream reading anything, let alone reading a manga. I want to say shout out to y'all, so hopefully I can get your names on the screen here, but shout out to all of you, you know who you are. But I had to do this. To show my appreciation, I decided to make a video, and it will be my only video I make on Berserk. But I will be, breaking this video into segments, and maybe we'll even have some special guests appear. So, chapter 1 of this video will be for the people who have not started or heard of Berserk and whether or not you should give it a try. So, essentially spoiler free. But after this, we're getting into the weeds. Chapter 2 of this video will be my thoughts on the characters in this story. Chapter 3 will be me giving my quick thoughts and ranking each arc in the series. Chapter 4 will be my thoughts and experience of the switch from Miura's writing and art to his best friend Koji Mori's. Chapter 5 will be my thoughts on the anime adaptations, which will include 97, 2016, 2017, and, Berserk, the Golden Age arc Memorial Edition. Didn't watch the movies, decided to watch the anime version of it. And Chapter 6 will be dedicated to you, the fans. So, with that long, drawn-out preamble out the way, before we get into this video, please be sure to subscribe to my channel, as well as hit that notification bell to get notified for more content that I put out. As well, if you end up enjoying this video, please be sure to hit me with a like and leave a comment and let me know your thoughts. And also, we do have channel memberships now where you can see some of my Berserk live reactions. So, be sure to do that. So, without any further ado, let's just get into it. Berserk is a manga series created by Kentaro Miura that follows the story of Guts, a skilled warrior on a quest for revenge against his former friend and leader Griffith. This isn't your typical good versus evil story. It's a tale of power, morality, and the human psyche. Berserk's themes and storytelling have resonated with fans for over 30 years. The story is set in a medieval-inspired fantasy world where humans coexist with demons, witches, and other supernatural beings. This is a series that has left an undeniable mark on the anime and manga world, inspiring countless adaptations, spin-offs, and merchandise. Merchandise, whatever. We're gonna keep going. One of the most notable aspects of Berserk's influence can be seen in many anime and manga series that have followed in its wake. From Attack on Titan to Demon Slayer, we can see Berserk's dark, gritty, and often violent themes being explored in these series. Its influence can also be seen in the character designs of popular games such as Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Elden Ring, and even Monster Hunter. But Berserk's impact goes beyond just anime and manga. It has inspired various other forms of media, including music, fashion, and even film. The metal band, Amon Amarth, I don't even know if I said that right, has a song called Berserker, inspired by the series, while the fashion brand Black Scale has created a line of clothing based on the iconic character designs. You know, Berserk has been adapted into multiple anime series, movies, and video games. The 1997 anime adaptation and its soundtracks are considered classics by many fans, while the recent 2016-2017 anime adaptation has been criticized for its poor animation quality, but we already know. If you know, you know. The series has also inspired various spin-offs, including a light novel, a trading card game, which, those never really end up well, but, a mobile game as well. Berserk has also left an impact on the manga industry itself. It has inspired other manga creators to take risks and explore darker and more mature themes. The success of Berserk has shown that there is a market for these types of stories, and has paved the way for other manga series to explore similar themes. Berserk's impact on the anime and manga world is undeniable. It has left a lasting legacy, inspiring other creators and becoming a cultural phenomenon that has transcended the medium itself. It's known for its graphic and violent content, and I know you probably feel like I'm repeating myself, but it includes depictions of, the R word and torture and mutilation, which have garnered controversy and criticism over the years, especially on the Twitters. However, these elements are used to enhance the story's dark and gritty tone, rather than for mere shock value. I truthfully believe that if you're looking to get into a series starting with the manga, it's the most complete and effective way to not only experience the art, but also the story in full. In every anime adaptation, it chooses to drop you in random parts of the story, and they don't really tell you from the beginning to the end. It's just hard to really figure it out. It's just best to just read it. I mean, you'll miss many details, scenes, characters, key plot points for the future of the story. And just if you decide to watch one of the adaptations, then try to pick up the manga from there. I don't know. I feel like you'd be lost regardless, but I think the anime is a good supplement to the manga. Now, I also say that you also need to have a very open mind when getting into this series. It is not for everyone. I repeat, not for everyone. There's a lot of imagery and scenes that could be triggering to some people for a myriad of reasons. Hell, the first page is insane, and I swore I was being memed when I started. Like, I was just like, this is the first page, this is what we doing, this seems fake, I don't know, whatever. But if you take this journey, keep in mind, the first volume's first arc of the series is a little rough compared to its future arcs, and Miura truly finds his stride in the second arc to the polished product of what we see Berserk as today. So if you end up thinking the series is mid and Guts is just a meh character in the beginning, that makes total sense. But if you have it in you to see what the hype is about, just keep on struggling through. The series in its beauty will eventually shine. So that's my thoughts to you if you want to get into Berserk.
My expectations going into Berserk was not what I actually got when I first opened that first page in the Black Swordsman arc. I was not expecting that whatsoever. I'm too used to One Piece, and that is definitely something you will never ever see in One Piece. And I am still quite new to manga, so I don't really know what I should be expecting when it comes to these big epic series. I do just know that it's supposed to be darker, and sometimes I'm like, how can it be darker than One Piece? And boy, just even from the very first arc, the Black Swordsman arc, I just knew it would be way darker than anything I would ever read, possibly. Especially since I am partway through the Golden Age arc now, and I feel the trauma, I really do. And even though I am preferring the Golden Age arc so far, that isn't taking anything away from how much I enjoy the Black Swordsman arc. I do love the fact that we got a look into the world. I mean, I did struggle a little bit because I'm not too used to the manga storytelling aspect of it, and we do get so much at once, but I do also think that's a perfect way to start, because Miura isn't holding my hand coming into this world. He is guiding me, and I just have to kind of keep up with his storytelling. And so far, I am loving the chase. I felt such an emotional attachment to Guts even from the first arc, so I'm really glad that we got this before we got a deep dive into his backstory in the Golden Age arc, because I was more invested that way. I wanted to know more. My intrigue was sky high, and I think the Black Swordsman arc, especially to do with like the monsters and the villains that we get faced with, it had just blew everything out of the water that I had read up to that point. It was gritty, it was gothic, it was beautifully detailed, and the illustrations just from that very first panel too were just unlike anything I've ever seen before. And I definitely think the Black Swordsman arc, even though a lot of people have told me it's their least favourite arc of Berserk, I just think it's a great foundation and one that I look forward to rereading for years to come. And maybe because I am still quite new to manga, my expectations, I didn't really have any going into it, so I think it probably helped my enjoyment with the first arc, and even more so now that I'm in the Golden Age arc, that I can appreciate a lot of the finesse and a lot of the details of the characters from the first arc. And it has mainly been Guts and Griffith, but they are two characters that I am 100% invested in now, and I don't think I would have been as much had it not been for the Black Swordsman arc, because what happened? What happened? I don't know. I actually don't know, but I'm so excited to find out, and that's all thanks to the Black Swordsman arc.
Okay, so let's talk about the characters in the story, but I'll be doing Casca, Griffith, and Guts towards the end of my ramble here. You know, I didn't know what to expect from this fantasy-esque world. I'm not usually a fan of characters being a Chad for the sake of being a Chad, except for Chad from Bleach. You know, Chado, that's my guy. And also, Esco known for some deadly sins, because, you know, who decided that? But anyway, back to the topic. What Miura has done here is create such a complex group of individuals, even the ones who aren't deeply explained. I mean, the Band of the Hawk was a group of people that, yes, we spent a long time in the series with and watching Guts grow a connection with them, but we never really get deep into what makes them them. But you just appreciate the growth they help Guts have throughout the Golden Age arc, and when you lose them, you know that Bonfire Dreams, you feel it, because through Guts and us, the reader following him, they turn into family. But I hate Corcus. I don't care what you say, and you can tell me he's just not emotionally intelligent, so he copes with being an asshole, but I'm good. I thought we were about cutting off toxic friends and family. I don't know. That's just my ramble. But Pittman never speaks, but man, do I just love that dude. He's a real one. Judo, the sharpshooter, you feel for him because he's just a supportive friend to have. But my mans will never get the woman he's in love with because he's up against the Twin Towers, which is Chadliness of Chadness and the Riz Emperor himself. And there, she's estimated to at least pick, you know, her 1 or 2 pick over him. So that's just that. You know, honestly, Casca really does have a messy fantasy team, but whatever. He's just a good dude, and it hurts to see him suffer. I also like Gaston, just because it was hilarious that Sean Schemmel, aka the voice of Goku, for the 97 anime Berserk, are the same people. So it's actually kind of hilarious to straight up just hear Goku in Berserk. But it's one person I never knew in the whole Band of the Hawk that would be that guy. It's Ricky! Rick or him. Rickard is him. Himothy. Hemi Neutron. Hemi Turner. Let him James. The Himmer H2. A young lad who's a craftsman, loyal and dependable, smart, and lands the greatest attack in all of manga. I mean, that's all I'll say, but these connections all happen in the beginning, and you start to think there's no way we will ever feel that feeling again, being the Band of the Hawk. But Miura did not disappoint as we entered the Conviction arc. Okay, so Puck, yes, we meet him in the beginning of the Black Swordsman arc, but he really shines in Conviction. He just seemed like a smart aleck and kind of annoying before, which honestly, he does still annoy me, but he provides something special to this dark story with his carefree attitude and has a lot of good moments along with the annoying ones. Farnese though, whew, Farnese is something different entirely. This character was originally the absolute worst thing I probably thought I ever seen put to page. I mean, you knew there was still something more to her, something, and how Miura explores her trauma and helping her to break free of that and view of the world in a new lens that she kind of has and she goes through, and then you see her just grow into something that you just start to fall in love with. She starts to fall in love with herself, and just like it's just a lot. Like, she wants to love others and she learns to be there for others. Just, it's an absolute masterclass of character development, and I think in all of manga. But you know, Serpico on the other hand, he's cool, has cool techniques. The classic always got my eyes closed, so you know I'm sneaky and anime character look. Sad backstory, yeah, but quickly falls into the background once other characters get introduced. Shit, even one that just shows up late in the story but has somehow entered my top just recently is my boy Roderick. That's my boy. Like, at first, you think that, you know, Roderick is just a Chad, a douchebag, I don't know, you didn't know what he was about. I didn't know his energy, I didn't know how he's gonna go about it, but Roderick is what do you call him? Broderick? He's him. I like him. Like, you know who Roderick is? Roderick is that, like, that friend that anytime we link, it's always good vibes. He's just that guy. He pulls up to everything. He don't ask no questions. He's just a good vibe. He's fun. Now, Isidro is the youngest member of Guts' party, and he brings a youthful energy and sense of humor to the group. He's a skilled thief and fighter, but he's also a bit of a troublemaker who often gets into fights with other members of the party. Despite his immaturity, he's also fiercely loyal to Guts and the rest of the group, and he's willing to put his life on the line to protect them. As the series progresses, he starts to mature and develop a deeper sense of responsibility, which makes him increasingly much more valuable to the group. But man, when he's bad, and sometimes he can be a lot. But then again, I usually have issues with children type characters who are just trying to mature in fictional stories. It's just not my thing. But Shirke, however you pronounce it, on the other hand, we must protect her at all costs, because by the time we meet her in the Millennium Falcon or Falcon of the Millennium Empire, I don't know, I get it. Miura, you like Star Wars, but I don't know what the name of this arc is or what we're supposed to be calling it. I keep seeing different names everywhere. If you want to correct me, go ahead. But yeah, anyway, once she gets introduced to the story, she basically turns into a Final Fantasy game. This whole series. Like, I wonder if Square Enix would ever attempt to make a Berserk game, or maybe the people who made like God of War. I mean, whatever. But yeah, once again, tangent. But yeah, Shirke is a dope character. She is kawaii desu, and she's just reliable and ends up being able to understand and be there for Guts more than anyone else in the story, all while being super powerful. She also brings Evilera, which, I mean, fine, she's okay. I don't really have much to say about her character. She's snarky and, you know, she messes around with Puck and all that. I don't know much about her. I don't know. I'm not gonna say she's trash. I don't know. But yeah, anyway, Evilera, please don't come for me if you exist. I don't know. But the two who every time they get on screen, I'm captivated by. I mean, it's just when they show up, you know things is getting real. It's Nosferatu-zan and the Skull Knight. I've seen theories about their connections, but boy, when they are scrapping, it's lit, bro. It's just always lit. They always add more lore to the story just by being present and just seeing how they react and interact with the same world we watch Guts struggle through. It makes us feel all the more human. Like, it's kind of crazy. Now, let's get into the monster trio themselves, the big three. I'll start with Casca. Honestly, I did not think Casca was dope at first. She just seemed like a tsundere type character, like, you know, towards Guts, and, you know, just fiending like Sakura for Sasuke in regards to Griffith. But as more time passes and not only we experience her strength on the battlefield, you also realize how much love she has to offer to everyone too. She went from being so annoying to ended up being the person that we know Guts needs, wants, and deserves. And when we lose that person in such a tragic way, it hurts all the more. It hurts to even think about it. Watch it again over and over, read it. I mean, no matter if you know it's coming, that moment that comes, it always hurts. And she's a fictional character, bro. Like, I shouldn't be hurting this way at all, but whew. But Griffith though, see, the way Miura has executed this character, who I want to call an antagonist more than a villain, is pure genius. We meet him as Femto, and we know from jump that he is someone we are supposed to not like and has done something absolutely horrible. And as you go back in time to experience his story with Guts, and how close they grow, all while being a baddie, and he gets what he wants. You know, bitch, I'm a baddie, I get what I want.
Bitch, I'm a baddie, I get what I want.
Whatever. You also know that there's this sneaky and conniving side to him, and we wait to see that side of him come out, and, you know, wait for it to be pointed at us, at Guts. And it delivers, and while he makes us suffer so much, you can almost see why he's doing this. I can see, like, how characters like Lelouch and Light Yagami or Mamoru Chiha or Aizen have been influenced by his model, because we know Griffith was not right. Not at all, but I get why he did it, kind of. Like, I mean, it offers both a solution, but a new problem to the world in itself. But I'm scared and never know what he's up to, and I never know what he's thinking when he shows up. He's just sussy-wussy. So let's end with the main character, Guts. With his massive sword and killer abs, Guts is the ultimate man's man. He's like if Arnold Schwarzenegger and John Wick had a baby, and that baby was raised by bears. I mean, he's a walking, talking testosterone factory. He doesn't take any crap from anyone, But what really sets Guts apart is his backstory. He's been through some serious trauma and has made him the badass he is today. I mean, the dude has fought demons, gods, and even his own best friend turned demon. And let's not forget the fact that he's lost an arm and replaced it with a cannon. Talk about leveling up your arm game, Mega Man. Boop, boop, boop. I mean, wrong arm. Boop, boop, boop. But anyway, also, I'm a fan of Mega Man Battle Network. This has nothing to do with the video. This is just a statement I am offering. I plan on buying that game when it comes out. Capcom, sponsor me. Love Mega Man Battle Network. Make sure you try it out if you haven't. But anyway, Guts, as I mentioned before, Guts is a walking, talking testosterone factory. He's a man of few words, but his actions speak louder than anything he could say. His backstory is one of the most tragic in all of manga, which makes his determination to survive and protect those he cares about all the more impressive. I thought he was just a Chad, something like Jotaro Kujo at first, but I was fooled. I played myself. I was wrong. In a time of men being depressed more than ever in the world, reading through Guts' story, you watch someone who has a lot of pain and despair struggle through it all in silence. But watch as fighting and growing through that pain becomes much easier when instead of fighting through it alone, you put your trust in others, open up, become vulnerable, and also accept change and love. Guts is a character I did not know would become my top 5 favorite protagonists in manga over the course of 8 months. But that just goes to show the pure talent of Miura by, yes, making us suffer by watching these characters suffer. Those moments of hope and growth in them all make the story feel so lifted.
What's good, everyone? It's your boy, Internet Pitstop, freshly born out of a corpse. And Guts is one of my favorite characters of all time. I mean, just look at this dude. He's got a cool-ass armor set, a metal cannon arm, and the only thing bigger than his trauma is his sword. And he hates Griffith. I hate Griffith. All my strugglers hate Griffith. But most of all, what makes Guts so cool is that goddamn jawline. No, but seriously, there's a lot of reasons why I find Guts to be such a great character. Reading through the manga, not only are you experiencing one of the best, if not the best, character arcs of all time, you grow to understand him so much to the point where he feels like a real person. But outside of all that, the cool stuff, the great character arc, what makes Guts my favorite character is just how much he inspires me. My favorite thing about Guts is his tenacity to keep moving forward despite having what is probably the worst life in fictional history. I mean, this dude spawned from a corpse. It was downhill from conception. And the only father figure he thought he had sold him off to this completely wholesome and not problematic at all fella right here. And so understandably, he had all this trauma. He didn't want anybody to touch him. He didn't want to connect to anybody. And then finally, he meets people who do care about him. And then he lets himself open up and be close to them. And from that, he realizes he wants to find his purpose in life and what he wants to do outside of just hitting things with a sword. And then more totally wholesome, not problematic at all things keep happening to him. But despite this hailstorm shit of a life, he gets up and keeps moving forward. But not only that, he continues to try to be a good person. And I think that's why so many Berserk fans find Guts' story so motivational and inspiring. No matter how bad your life is or whatever you're going through at a certain time, and this isn't Trauma Olympics, I'm just saying, it's not worse than Guts' life, right? And so seeing him go through all this and not only get up and keep moving forward, but also continue to be a good person, that is so inspiring. And that is such an important message to get from a piece of media and a character. With the cards that this man was dealt, I would not blame Guts if he became a bad person. I mean, it sucks. It would suck, but I wouldn't blame him. But he doesn't. He did at one point, but even then, when he made that mistake, he realized it was wrong and wanted to be better, not just for himself, but for the people he cares about. Guts is such an important character to me because he reminds me that even in the toughest of times, no matter what I'm going through, I should always try to keep moving forward and continue to try being the best person I can be.
You're going to be all right. You'll walk again. Soon.
Thank you to The Real Croc for adding me to this video. This has been your favorite shitty internet roommate, and it's time for me and Scully Boy here to take a romantic trip into the sunset. I'll see y'all later. Peace.
So I'm not going to give a thorough review on these arcs, as I don't think I have any deeper retrospect to offer to the series that much more talented YouTubers who have talked about Berserk can offer. Especially as I haven't had a long time to sit on this series that I feel confident enough to write something like that. But I will give a tier list right now on the arcs and maybe a quote or two on what I thought. And if you hate me for these rankings, it's cool. So let's start with the Black Swordsman arc. You know, I was this close to not knowing if I was reading the correct story because of the first page, but it's something I appreciate more in retrospect. Knowing more about the story than when I was going through it for the first time. But it's a rough start, and I feel one could be convinced to skip it or drop the series because of it, just as the anime adaptations continue to do. But this ranking is about the arc itself, not so much what it offers to the story, so I can give this a C. Now, the Golden Age arc is probably, from what I heard, peak Berserk, and thus why it's probably the most well-known arc to outsiders of the series. I mean, it has peak character development, world building, lore dumps, mystery, and tragedy. And the Eclipse was something no one, not a soul, prepared me on. I never heard the term at all prior to reading it. God, bro. This is to be evil. Yes, bro, this nigga, it really is evil. I'll tell you that. This nigga is evil. Man. Yo, why he going in like this? Why is Miura going in like this, bro? I should not. Yo, what? This is hentai at this point. No. Oh my God. She hates all of this, bro. And he just going in. Miura is a madman. She's literally crying, son. And Gus is crying, son. Oh my God, this is so fucked, bro. What? Yo, this nigga is crazy, son. This nigga Miura is nuts. This nigga Miura is nuts. I gotta take a break for a second, bro. My head feels like it's about to explode. This nigga is so fucked up, bro. What? Well, I guess he got his tongue back. Jesus Christ, son. Oh my God. Yo! Yo! I'm gonna get banned on YouTube. I swear, bro. Oh my God. In his eye, too. This is crazy. Nani? This nigga is the worst nigga ever. What? Like, if you want to be an asshole about it, truthfully, you could be like, oh, well, Casca been wanting Griffith. But, like, that's not what happened just now, bro. This is crazy. Like, that, nothing about that felt right, bro. Everything about that felt like crazy, son. You can tell. And, oh, my God, son. Look, he going insane. Guts going insane, bro. So what, Medusa and Griffith gonna start getting it on too? Oh, look who put... Oh, Skull Knight! I don't know why I'm hyped. Like, I don't even know if Skull Knight's a good guy or not, or if he's on our side. I don't know nothing. But my son Skull Knight! Skull Knight showed up, and he obviously don't fuck with them. Nigga broke through the Eclipse. Nigga shattered the infinite Tsukuyomi. Skull Knight is basically, you know what? The way Skull Knight moved, he moved just like as if he guts or something. Like he's like guts in the future or some shit. He just wants smoke. What a chapter, bro. I mean, it was like going into Game of Thrones and no one ever even spoils the phrase or term Red Wedding to you. And I just was not ready. I was not ready at all. I mean, Golden Age itself, it's an A. It's not an S, just because I feel like there are some really slow moments that I can't even blame the anime too much for skipping. So it's a humble A. Don't cancel me. Sorry. Now, the Conviction arc is interesting. So let's start with Lost Children chapter. I'm not gonna lie to you, I did not love it. It's cool. Dope fighting scenes. You know, you get to truly experience Guts as a Black Swordsman with all the character development we get prior in the Golden Age arc. And, you know, it has a touching and nuanced story and interesting antagonist, but it just didn't hit after the Eclipse for me. I don't know why. Just I don't know, the evil bug fairies ain't do it for me, even if it was tragic. So, Lost Children chapter, you get a C. But Binding Chain though, it's short, and you could blink and miss it. And though it's short, it screamed the legend of the 100-Man Slayer. I mean, I really appreciate this arc. It's a really good transition arc to me, so I'll give it a B. Don't got much to say. But Birth Ceremony chapter really blows the door open on how freaky this world is about to get due to the past actions that we've experienced. It really expands the possibilities of what we can expect from Apostles. The ending to it is so absolutely nuts, and Mogus was actually a pretty terrifying villain. It had everything with heretics and characters to hate and ones to love, a clear faction we really hate, and mysteries that have the answer right in front of us the whole time but doesn't make sense to us until way later on. Like, I don't know if this is controversial, but Birth Ceremony to me might be an S. I feel Miura got his veteran stride here and figure out the kind of story he really wanted to tell. As Golden Age seemed he was learning and, you know, he still struck gold, this just felt more planned out and executed well to get the S. The Millennium Falcon arc though, it's different. So we'll start with the Whole Evil War chapter. The story really hits a duality like standpoint where I can see where Naruto's story of following Naruto and Sasuke on the other side gets his inspiration from with Guts and Griffith. Seeing how expansive the world is and, you know, getting magic introduced and come on, the Berserker armor, bro, the Berserker armor. Like, I mean, I was also shocked that we get a new family. After the Band of the Hawk, I thought they were, you know, irreplaceable, and that warm feeling comes back with these characters that we have following Guts. The only downside is that it's a lot of dialogue and it gets boring a little because it's explaining a whole new power system. So I'll give this arc an A. But the Falconia chapter is basically our war arc in Berserk to me. People are teaming up that I had no idea would be teaming up, and characters are becoming better that I had no idea could get this good. Miura is showing just how much this world that felt so small at first is just so much bigger than we realize on so many levels, as well as seeing how mystical and complex the God Hand and the Apostles and Zod and Skull Knight himself really are, and just the gravitas of Griffith himself. He's just on a pure flex mode on this arc. This arc does not get boring to me ever, so I'll also give this an S. And finally, we get to the unfinished, as of the time of this recording, Fantasia arc, Elf Island chapter. So I wasn't prepared for this to basically turn into, I don't know, One Piece and Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't know what was going on, but the naval battle and water aspect was cute, but got old fast. I felt like I was like Sonic the Hedgehog, like trying to escape a water level. Like I just couldn't deal with it, and I can't imagine having to like go through this series the way it came out with regularly. I had the luckiness to binge it, and I much more prefer that way. The arc, you know, in its more recent chapters have such high payoffs and stunning reveals, but the bulk was not great to me as it stands now, at least the beginning part. But you know what, actually, let me take a seat. Let me sit down and pull up right here. Sorry. All right, listen, Miura, I get what you were doing here. I understand that you were doing some imagery to show like Casca's trauma and explain it to Farnese and Shirke, you know, in that little world that you built. Did you have to draw that many PP monsters? Did we need that many PP monsters? Like, I had to think about it a little bit. I almost wanted to give this arc a C because of the naval stuff, but I had some more time to think about it even more. And you know, that part was dope. We get the dog, the Berserk dog, fire, absolutely heat. Like, the dog uses the blade as a tail, absolutely dope. Can't complain there either. I'm gonna give, so far, you know, it's not done right now, I'm gonna give it a B. I'm gonna give it a B. You know, it's crazy, but I'm gonna give it a B.
Hello, I'm Josh.
And I'm Megan.
And we're from the Volume 1 podcast. And we're here today because your boy has asked us to share some of our favorite things about Berserk, our favorite arc, and our least favorite arc. All right, you go first, Megan.
So it definitely was tied between the, of course, Golden Age arc and the Conviction arc. And ultimately, it was definitely a tie, but I will have to go with the Conviction arc just because of the new characters that we get introduced to. I mean, like Farnese and Serpico, like, come on. We also get, like, great development for Guts. I mean, it's sad development, but it's great. And the reunion... I can't! Between Guts and Kosk after all that time, just going through the whole arc and finally getting to see them come together, it just like melted my heart. Other than that, obviously, like the Lost Children arc chapters, amazing. And the religious themes and how far people are willing to go for their own beliefs was like genuinely terrifying. And Mogus, I mean... still haunts my dreams to this day, and other things in this arc. But yeah, Conviction arc for the win. And my least favorite, I can't. I don't have one. Oh, okay. Win. Oh. And what about you?
If I had to pick one arc, I'd have to say my favorite arc of Berserk is the Millennium Falcon arc for so many reasons. So much happens in this arc. We get Griffith forming the new Band of the Hawk, or the Band of the Falcon. We get the official forming of our group, the Guts Gang. Isidro, Serpico, Shirke, Farnese. We get the introduction and the explanation of like fetishes and the Berserker armor, and we see Skull Knight use the Sword of Behelots. I mean, the world gets so much bigger. It gets more mystical. It gets more magical. Questions are answered. It has emotional moments with Guts telling Ricker what happened on the night of the Eclipse, and seeing Guts Jr. save Guts on the beach. I mean, it's got everything. More importantly than any of that is just seeing Guts let people back into his life after everything that he's been through, since he was with the Band of the Hawk. It's what gets me every time, just seeing Guts be vulnerable. Miura is incredible at writing emotional complexity within characters. It's what I love about this arc, and it's what I love about Berserk as a whole. I mean, there's so many things I didn't even get to mention, but it's just got everything. So I have to say the Millennium Falcon arc. But if I had to say least favorite, I don't know. I mean, I gotta give some kind of answer. Look, I mean, it's unfair to say that the earlier arcs, like Black Swordsman arc, would be my least favorite, because that's our introduction. That's how the story begins. But because of where the story goes, I might have to say that, even though I don't like that. But my second choice would maybe be then Fantasia, only because it's still going on and I don't really know where it's gonna go. I mean, some crazy things have happened, but why would you ask me that? Why would you ask me that? I don't know. But I guess Black Swordsman or Fantasia, whatever. But I still love them. All right, well, those are our picks, our favorite and kind of least
copped out.
favorite. Arcs of Berserk. But there's so much to say about this series. There's so much that we love, but that's it for us. So we'll throw it back to you. Thank you for having us so much. And congrats on finishing Berserk. Yeah. Completing a peak fiction. It really is peak fiction. Yeah.
So this will be my transition arc, just something quick. Watching Miura's art, shading, paneling, character moments, fights, and gore is not like anything I've ever experienced put to paper. His style and writing and how he has his characters speak and interact with each other and creating something beautiful and introspective from darkness is just something special in itself. Like, binging through this has been an absolute delight, and I have made sure to purchase those beautiful deluxe edition volumes to add to my manga collection. Miura has a style that many have taken inspiration from and imitate but could never duplicate. But I also know with such high quality means such high burden on the body, mind, and soul of the artist. And I want to use this moment to condemn all human beings, because I don't know if I can call you fans or, anything, for those who actively attack and do not take into account that these mangakas, animators, everything are people too. When just, going past criticizing the art, sometimes people take it too far. And with that being said, as I got to the part of my binge where there was this beautiful note/chapter from one of Miura's closest and longtime friends, it hit me that how even though my binge to this point in such a short time, I found myself shocked, even though I knew before going in that Miura was really gone. But this story over the next few chapters comes with the possibility of being very, I don't know, Boruto-esque, Dragon Ball Super-esque. I didn't know what to expect with the transition from one author to another. I felt as if myself, I took Miura and the story for granted. And as I continue reading, seeing this story told from Miura's talented team as well as Koji Mori, his close friend who knows how the story ends, I felt the change. The art wasn't arting like Miura did. The dialogue and the movement of the fights felt like there was a shift, and even the pacing felt strange. But this is not me saying it's bad. I'm actually happy the story is still going on, and I'm happy with what has happened so far. It felt like the right things, are happening in the story, but how we get there seems a little bumpy and abrupt. I can't wait for the next chapter to get released, but, I'm also sad that an element that I've had about 90% of the story, be a part of will never come back in Miura. I do have faith, while not knowing much, that this series has so much love for it that it feels like it's being continued in that same love, and not just for a cash grab. Though all businesses do have something to gain because, come on, cream.
As a person that has followed Berserk since 2009, I feel like it has become a part of my soul at this point. And so, when Kentaro Miura passed away in 2021, I felt like a part of my soul had dissolved away. Therefore, when I heard the news that Miura's childhood friend, Koji Mori, and Studio Gaga were going to revive the story, I was nervously ecstatic. It seems a bit contradictory, but it goes without saying that Miura's storytelling and artwork is non-pareil. Thus, expecting anyone to replicate his standard is nigh impossible. It'd be like telling someone to replicate Michael Jordan or Tom Brady. It simply cannot be done. They're 101s, and the same goes for Kentaro Miura. Therefore, I tempered my expectations going into this revival. And so far, I gotta say, I'm pleasantly surprised. The artwork has been very good so far. The panel with Griffith returning to Falconia on top of Zod was simply 10 out of 10 for me. And we've seen flashes of greatness from Studio Gaga that gives me confidence that they can approximate Miura's greatness. But the key for them is to work diligently and to take their time. While I appreciated the 7 chapters last year, Miura hasn't produced 7 chapters in one calendar year since 2012. And given the fact that they're riding a bike without any training wheels at this point, I think it would be prudent to take their time and produce the best work possible. That's why it's a great decision that they're waiting 4 months from the release of 371 to the release of 372. They'll be able to perfect all the little details that Miura took his entire lifetime to master. Now, if I had one gripe about the artwork so far, is that it's a bit inconsistent. While we've had a plethora of beautiful drawn manga panels, there were a couple of others that lacked a certain level of detail. Detail that I know Miura would have put in there himself. But luckily, this is not due to a lack of skill or talent. It's just merely patience. Miura never rushed his deadlines to the detriment of his work. It was either exemplary, or it wasn't produced whatsoever. And I think the staff has learned from their minor miscalculation, and will continue to improve upon their own standards. Thus, I'm very happy with how the staff is handling Miura's masterwork, and can't wait to see how they finish off Miura's grand vision.
So, this might be where I lose a lot of y'all, if I didn't lose you with my art tier list. But I kinda enjoyed all of these, for all different reasons, but here's why. After reading through the whole manga, and while knowing everyone has opinions on the anime adaptation, thus why I never consumed any of it prior, I appreciate just getting to see more and experience the same story Miura made in a different way in media. Now, I'm not saying they are perfect or great. I'm not even really saying they're super good, or I don't know. They just ain't that bad. And I'll have you know that I have standards, because I hate adaptations for other series such as, I don't know, Mr. What a Twist movie called The Last Airbender, and Dragon Ball Evolution, and the Naked Brothers band version of Death Note. But man, I'm trying my best to hold out hope as well for the One Piece live action. I don't know how it's gonna work, but I'm rooting for Matt Owens, that at least some fans can be pleased with his efforts. I know he's a fan himself, but whatever. Let's get back to Berserk. So, the 97 anime. Yes, it's old. And that intro is kind of trash, but also kind of elite because, I mean, come on. Put your glasses on. Like, that shit is actually kind of hilarious. But anyway, I mean, the soundtrack is so elite that this is going to turn into a Family Guy sketch about that one time that someone stopped me in the street to ask what I was listening to, and I told them that I was listening to Gatsu while staring at the stoplight introspectively.
Hey, what are you listening to? What are you listening to? What are you listening to?
Listening to Gats from the Berserk 97 soundtrack. Pretty alright.
Huh.
Yeah. But yeah, the 97 anime was vintage. It has just a vintage taste, and I enjoyed it. And I recommend checking it out if you've only ever read the series. And I was happy I watched it in English as well, as I did moving forward with every other adaptation. So, the 2016 and 2017 anime. I already know this is going to be a lot more controversial. My bias may have been hit, as it was telling a story of arcs I really enjoyed while reading, and it was nice to be refreshed on what happened since it felt like so much happened then. And I don't know. Listen, the CGI is wild, 100% for this time. Like it looks like it came out in 2009, or hell, I don't know, like the same year that show Reboot came out. Like, I mean, also, Reboot's a fire show, if you don't know. Reboot is fire. But yeah, the intros are clean. It's better than 97 anime, but I still do want to put my glasses on. The anime seems like it couldn't decide between being 3D and 2D, with moments of really good 2D stuff and never a good 3D moment, which, like, it doesn't make any sense. It's baffling because it's not like we didn't have anime that has dynamic movement as well, like Attack on Titan released already, and things like One Punch Man, and so many other hype anime moments in those years, like with great animation. And sure, I've seen videos explain how we got this adaptation, and you know, I don't hate them. Hate is a strong word. I enjoy it for what it is, but it is by far no substitute for the original material. And I don't know, yeah, it can be skipped. And lastly, instead of watching all the movies individually, I decided to watch Berserk: The Golden Age Arc Memorial Edition. That was split up into, like, what was it, 9 episodes with some extra scenes, and you know, that was fine. I think it was a little too fast paced through the arc in my opinion, and it was interesting, this being my 3rd time now experiencing the Golden Age arc. But boy, the Eclipse in this, while not seeming as otherworldly and dark and sinister as the 97 anime portrayal to me, the nastiness of Griffith is portrayed way more in this adaptation. It kind of slipped under the rug in 97, but not here. The music is fine. Again, visuals were dope. And once again, it's just a good supplement. Like, it's okay. It added to my Berserk experience after reading, but once again, should never be a substitute. I hope one day some studio takes the time to commit to a high quality adaptation to this story in order, and with all the details. Maybe even a live action. I wouldn't be that mad. Especially in a time with dark stories becoming more popular and shonen, such as JJK and Chainsaw Man, Attack on Titan, and Vinland Saga. Like, they're all popular, and like, you know, we had Elden Ring had the success that it had. Like, I don't see why committing to this would be beneficial as well to everybody. Like, it would be great if somebody just did it. Now, I'm not saying Mappa should do it either, because, like, I mean, sheesh, they're probably overworked at this point. I feel like even if Mappa did a rush job, it'd be okay and better than what 2016 and 2017 did, or anything we received so far. But I mean, good luck to whoever chooses to adapt this story in the future, and I'm wishing you success. I really am. Wow. I regret not getting into this series sooner. I get it. I get you. People who haven't experienced Berserk are really missing out. But I've never felt you guys feel as culty as us One Piece fans in trying to get people to get into it. Because it seemed like you guys know what this story is. You love it, all while knowing that everyone will not be able to appreciate it. And it doesn't make you better for loving it, even though secretly it kind of does. But yeah, you have endured and kept up with this story for so long, being patient through hiatuses and left on cliffhangers chapter after chapter all these years, probably almost giving up on the series at moments, but kept faith in Miura and couldn't let go of these characters. As I, someone who didn't have nowhere near the joy of feeling this journey up to this point with the community as chapters released and talked or theorized and watched chapter reviews, like, I'm just happy to be here now. And even though I just caught up 3 months ago and I started like 8 months ago, and I'm now waiting like the rest of you too for the next chapter, I put respect on your names and dedication to the series and how you've stayed loyal to it, even after what may have been losing some of your favorite mangaka in all time. Like, we've lost Miura, because I can't imagine if Kishimoto passed before finishing Naruto, or if Oda passes before finishing One Piece. Y'all have stuck through and also helped me get to where I am now as a YouTuber. Sure, I have a whole bunch of One Piece content, but my journey through Berserk has been documented here every step of the way, here on this channel, that so many people actually took joy in watching me read, watch, and react to this series. And I wouldn't even have been monetized on YouTube if not for you sitting through hours of me reading Berserk. Or even if you didn't watch that, if you were watching this video as well, and this is the first piece of Berserk you've ever seen me talk about, I appreciate you as well. Now, if you want to subscribe to me, you can, if you want, but I will say I am not making a lot more content on Berserk after this, after this getting into the retrospective of it all. Now, it's not impossible, but it's not part of my plan, because there are so many people I've watched do it here on the platform that I feel I can never compete. But I will continue to do live chapter reactions as they come out, and I'm hoping to see some of you there on my streams. My name's Croc, or you can call me Corey. This has been the Berserk video, and enjoy your life, struggler.
I'm feeling great and feel the vibe, I'm really grateful we alive.
And I'm feeling great cause lately I've been on the way to something great. And I feel alive cause I create like every day and I'm on today.